What's up? I'm on Vindictus, all that good stuff. My day is going pretty good. Hopefully yours is. You can always leave a comment on that. You'll have to give me a few seconds. So do you live with limits? Or do you not? I'll tell you a little untold secret about that in this spot. The limit is decided by what you think. Maybe you think it's not possible because of a limit that has been set. That is only a limit to be the best. It is not for what it is you cannot accomplish. It is for if you wish to be the best, at least that is what you must accomplish. Do you wish to know what this whole channel, YouTube or Twitch, is about? I tell you the truth, for you will do greater things than me. Do you understand now for why I speak as I do? Does it seem that maybe I speak riddles to you? There's something that was commanded that you do not do. Pray to for what and who gives understanding? Otherwise, you have a lack, and you are limited upon what it is that is and can be your understanding. Do you wish to live with limits that you could break? Or do you wish to live without limits and be for what was seen? Beyond for what one has accomplished? Or do you wish to be second place for what another happened to accomplish? Do you wish to be the cream of the crop, the best of the best? Or do you wish to take second place, the first to lose amongst the rest? You need to answer that question right now. If you do not, you cannot proceed. As far as being the best of the best of everything you do and see. Otherwise, well, you live with limits. You could not be one with no limits. I wish to mention something else, by the way. For those that fall for something that is not wise to fall for. This whole thing with the AI doing everything for you. I wish to mention something to you. It is second place to for what is the best. For it cannot be considered if it is not the best. Do you wish to take second or first? For AI cannot show for what was the best if it was not produced, could it? Add to that, what happens if that all of a sudden disappears? To where you cannot do it? Can you reproduce? Can yourself do it? You live with limits if it is you rely upon such things as this. You will always be second place for ones that have accomplished and has the record upon AI for this. If you cannot produce without, then do not do. If it is authentic, then guess who wins first place, no matter if AI helps you. Live with no limits, not one that has rules and has its limits. So you wish to be limitless. Little exercise. If it is in truth, this is what you actually wish. Write them down. What is your limit? Now, when I say a limit, I wish to very clearly specify this. A limit is as such. Anything less is not a limit. It is only your fabricated thought in your mind of what you think can be done. Say you were in an accident and you lost a limb. All of a sudden, you cannot use that limb. But here's the problem with such things as this. There are ones that have been born without, and they can still do more than you. The limits are set by your mind, my friend. Do you truthfully think that is a limit? For the ones that have broken records that others have considered a limit, what thought process did they have that were different than yours? They seen it as the following. It was a condition to be the best. Not to be considered second place like the rest. If it is you think it is upon a limit, then that is what it will be. For within your mind you have decided for what can and will be. Never think you are less, or that is exactly for what it is that you will get. Live with no limits. It is only status for to be the best. Otherwise, you are considered second or below that, which is the rest. And another mention for what? About AI. For AI to be for what it is. There must have been one that was first. So will you be first or will you be second? And will you be the last? Or for when certain things, maybe, will it be that your legacy last? Or will it be something that fades because you cannot reproduce? For what? Yourself. should be able to reproduce. Are you the cream of the crop? Or are you second? Wish to have something actually pop? You ought to do it authentically for others. They do not wish to see upon who is second. They wish to see upon who is first. Do they not? No limits. So upon this AI and other things, are there limits? Upon for when you do not use. Is there limits applied to what you can do? Only for what is thought that can be accomplished by you. By the way, another thing about this AI thing as well. It is a model for what is right here, your mind. It has its place, of course. But let me ask you this. How much do you rely upon? What happens if all of a sudden it's gone? Can you still produce? Or would it be that you would be the first to take second and lose? Hmm? Can you? Can you not? You wish to be first or second in this place. What happens if upon what you do, they wish to ask you questions about what you do? Or for what another thing that is not you does for you? Can you produce such things? Or when it comes down to such things, you cannot. All of a sudden, to something that is supposed to help you, you take second place, don't you? Don't be so foolish. What kind of ratio is it? Compared to what you do. Does it do 100%? Or more percent do you do? Hmm? Do you even pay attention to the fact? Or do you have limits and you do not think of such things as that? Do you wish to have just a quick buck? Well, what happens if all of a sudden, for within that field, they do not allow it? Can you still produce it if they do not allow it? You wish to know something interesting? When it is I published my book, do you know one of the few things that I had to address? They specifically said that I have to state if AI was used to write the book or not. The steps are already being taken. Eventually, it will be limited, I'm sure. What happens if all of a sudden you cannot produce for what it is that you do? Because something else does it for you. Hmm? A good rule of thumb for such things as this. If you cannot reduplicate for what you do by using this, it might be wise for you to step away and learn. For what happens if you are not able to learn? And such things do not allow you to earn. Can you? Can you not? Do you have limits? Or do you not? Are you one that is authentic 100%? Are you one that maybe has suggestions or uses extensions of yourself to do such things, even if ones think and believe it is not yourself? Can you prove upon the fact that it is? No matter for what in truth it is? Do you have your limits, or do you not? Do for what you do is organic in nature? Or is it something that you cannot prove amongst these things is to be the nature? Enough about such things as the AI and other things such as this. Got a good thing. These limits I told you to speak of, or write down. Now, are these true limits, or are these stats that must be for who is the best? At least you know for if it is that, what you must accomplish to be the best. If it is that you don't, then you will be second place. So what will it be that you do about such things? Will you push forward and know for what you must surpass and be? Beyond for what another might believe? Every limit that has ever been set, as far as records and other things that others have achieved, ones that have surpassed, there's one thing they have done to achieve. They knew for what they had to at least minimally achieve. Then push past. Do you see what it is I mean for what is to live with no limits? What is the dream life you wish to have? What do you need to do to accomplish it? Do you know? Do you not? If you know for what is the limit, you do. Now the choice, if you surpass or not, is up to you. For what you think you can do. Everything starts upon your mind, my friend. No matter for what you think is a limit and is not in the end. It doesn't matter for what it is. It really doesn't. No, I'm sure that you might be like, well, you do this upon a game. Is that not a limit? Could be in certain ways. Depends upon how you look in this day. I do it for a specific reason. I do not like to sit still, as it is. If I'm preoccupying my body to where I do not have to pace back and forth, how much easier is it for me to do upon what it is I do than trying to pace back and forth and speak to you? Hmm? Now, I also mentioned this as well. Even amongst for who is motivational speakers and other things, do you not think that there might be a few that wish to watch a game? There are some that will not sit still. They have to be occupied to listen for when they sit still. Do they not? Some enjoy watching a game as it is. They do for what it is. They do. But that is also for why I have written my book that will eventually turn into more, as well as for what will be when I do my audiobook as well. The platform does not matter. It is what it is I do that is authentic. That matters. I do not need to produce. Might give me inspiration for what it is I produce. But there is no limit upon for how and when I can produce. No limits is how you wish to be. Is it not? Then why do you allow this to be the leak that is the weakest? Hmm? Nah, I'm sure a few might be. Oh, this is a character I have never seen. I'm already upon for what is my decided spot, which is very well planned, by the way. For every skill is available, so I can showcase the character and the game, as well as for what it is I do and say. So these limits that you think you have, how long will you allow them to last? Will you not? Within for what is within your control, of course. There are certain things that you cannot control. You need to know the difference as well. For then you can truthfully break records and go beyond for what is limits. There are some you shall not mess with. There are others that you can. For what you can do physically, you already know that you can. For what you can do mentally as well, just so you know, it applies for what you think mentally as well. If you think you cannot accomplish, that is, shall be for what it is. But if you know for what is the standard to be the best, and you push past for what is considered the very best, then do you shatter for what is considered a limit for ones amongst their mind that thinks that is the limit? Hmm? Of course, certain standards to be the best. Alright? Do you know what they are? We know for what is your limits, if it is you have done for what I have asked you. Now do you know for what is to correct for what I have asked you? Do you not? Maybe that might be a limit. Maybe you need to address that and do some Google foo. Or something else as far as that for you to know what to do. If you wish to be the best, then very well. If you wish to be standard, well, be used to taking second place. You might as well just know that just as well. Unless you wish to be the best and live without limits and not be able to be considered the same as the rest. By the way, AI, as far as such things, they are the first to take second place amongst these things. For the information to be there, there must have been someone that has taken first for it to be there. What's the matter? Do not like the truth. To be limitless, first you must acknowledge the truth. That is a stipulation. If it is you are not amongst the best, you must acknowledge for who is amongst first, and know for where you must accomplish, and how, and when, and where. Do you not? The limits, are they truthfully such things? Or are they standards to be amongst the best, and whatever it is amongst those things? If you think you cannot achieve, that is what you will get. It all starts with your mind. You must realize that even amongst AI, such things, it is a model of your mind. These such things. But here's something that's more interesting about something that AI cannot produce and never will. The speed that it can be produced and the accuracy and the authenticness. Because AI must follow for what is the rules, where your mind does not have to follow such rules. Does it? There have been feats that have been for what most would think were impossible. But because they had to find a way. Could AI do such things upon this day? No, for it has a limit upon what it is that is set, that is amongst your mind and its limit. Right? The best of the best. Do you not think that AI does not study or the ones that run it, by the way? Another thing to think about before you use such things. What happens if they have an agenda that is not yours? Hmm. But AI studies the best of the best, does it not? So, do you wish to be the first to take second, or do you wish to lead amongst the pack? No matter if AI helps you or not. You need to answer that question if you wish to be a leader in this spot. No matter what field, profession, or craft. No limits. Do you rely on something that has its limits? Or do you rely upon something that does not? Might have stepped upon a few toes in this spot. But I will tell you this. If it is that you do something that is not authentic to you, when you have to reproduce without for what helps you, can you? Or can you not? Do you have limits or do you not? Do you rely on something that does and always will? For it has to be done first before AI can study for what was done first. Hmm? You wish to answer that, or do you wish to just ignore the fact that there's truth right in front of you? Just because it works upon this season does not mean that it will upon the next. What kind of other limits might they put upon AI next? If I have to specifically put amongst for what file I send to a publisher that no AI was used, what limit will they put next? It's already begun. Do you wish to be one that loses or has and always will have won? It has gone far enough. To assist you is one thing, but to do it entirely 100% for yourself, something else that you should be doing yourself. How many people know their best friend's phone number? Huh? How many of you know your friend's phone number by heart? I got another good one for you. How many of you have memorized your credit card number? Have you used it enough, or do you rely on something else? How much of your brain do you use? How much of everything else that is making you stupid are you using? The less you use your brain, the less smart you are. It's a muscle, my friend. No limits. Is that what you wish to have? And B, or do you wish to have a limit because of something that you do not use? Hmm? That'd be another one to write down too. You wish to have that limit, or do you not? Hmm? And another thing, curiously enough, about all that. People seeking for what it is that catches their interest. Do they not wish to see something original to catch their interest? Not something that is reproduced from something that was already done? Hmm? Or a new take upon something that might have been done? Hmm? Do they? Do they not? Do you have limits? Do you rely upon something that does? Or do you live in the fact that you do not? There's only one way to find out. Answer the question upon this spot. Can you do for what AI does for you yourself? Or can you not? If you cannot produce, I would advise you to stop. For what happens if it gets outlawed or other things such as that? What happens to for what you rely upon for such things as that? Hmm? You ever consider things that are very wise to consider? Do you have limits or do you not? Do you wish to take second place or first? Do you wish to be the first to lose? Or one that is first and can never lose? Might want to start using this. If you don't, guess what? You're the first to lose. Because for what is produced by AI must be considered and written in for what worked for the first. Do you not get what I just said? In order for AI to give such result, it must have been produced first. Wish to be the first to lose or the second? Or do you wish to be one that wins and does not have to worry about being second? Which one is it that you wish to be? Why, for what you do after you listen to me will be for what is your answer? Now, I know for many might think, well, can't understand for what it is you say. Have you done for what I have instructed a long time ago? For what I have acknowledged upon what it is that I have done? And for who you should go to for understanding? Or have you not? You may not know this, but there was something special that I did upon this spot. I submitted for what it is I am to say and to do. For and is able to understand for what I do and say. Very specifically, if you think upon what it is I say is a riddle, you have not prayed to for who? I've already acknowledged you must to understand the riddle. Same as it is that Christ had said that you must pray to for understanding. For I submitted my body to the Holy Spirit. If you wish to understand for what I say fully, you must pray to the Holy Spirit. If it is you think it is a riddle, that is why it is you think that. You have not done for what I have already said to do, to understand for what you do not. And there's a reason why, by the way. The Holy Spirit is the keeper of knowledge, is it not? If you have a lack of understanding, why not pray to one that does not? I have said that a few times as well. Figured I'd remind you of that. But of course, many mock certain things that, in truth, they should not. Well, here is the proof of the pudding. That amongst for what is the proof and the pudding. If it is you mock something you do not understand, when it is proven for what it is that you do not understand, nor was it something that you should know, because you are one that these proofs are not for you to know, then you will be the first to lose upon what it is that decided before for what you wish to win, you would lose. By one that would have the knowledge upon for what, and how, and when, and where you would lose. You wish to have analogy for what I speak. It's pretty like this. It's like someone that goes to play you in chess. And they do this. Before the game is to be played, before any pieces have been moved upon the board, upon that game, on that day, they declare a checkmate. And you ask the question, how is it that you can declare such checkmate? The reply upon for that question is this, following that question. For no matter for what piece you happen to move, no matter for where you think, I do not know for where you will move. The choice for what I will do has already been made. You find out at the end of the game. Do you wish to know where I got that from? There was a guy at one point that could play 5 to 10 games of chess all at the same time without looking at the board and win all of them. Now, if someone that is less than God can do that, what do you think God can do? Well, I'm back from my intermission, all that good stuff. Now, I'm sure there might be a few of you that don't believe in such things, but I'll ask you a simple question, and I don't care what your response is, but for what is this? Do you really think it happened by random? Hmm? Is there any proof of that? Like, when I say that, though, I mean tangible. Something that can be studied, proven to be. Or can it not? Is it just a theory upon this spot? Hmm? You know, just as well as I do, that there was one, or ones, that have woven the tapestry for what is. You cannot deny such fact. I do not normally get into such subjects, but it is the truth of the matter. But here's another thing I wish to mention in this matter. Remember how I said, and have been pushing for the fact, anything is possible? You were created in the image of. That makes you a creator, does it not? So what kind of world do you wish to live in? And which one do you not? Only one can do something about that. Do you wish to live with limits, or do you not? Hmm. Do you wish to think that you are less, and not be able to produce for what you actually could, and have the life that you could? Hmm? It's up to you. Free choice, is it not? So what do you like and what do you not? Hmm? You gonna live with limits or are you not? Think about one specific thing while I'm on the subject. You will do greater things than me. You ever notice that phrase? They did what? Think about that for a few seconds, my friend. Greater things than them? How could you do such things if you did not have the thought of anything is possible? How could you do such things without for what motivates you to make such things possible? How could you achieve without the knowledge to make it possible? Or do you believe that nothing is possible? The proof is in the pudding of what you do. The proof is in what it is that you show is possible, that is produced by you, and can only be. Every day things are broken upon what you think is limits. So what is it that you think is your limit? What do you know that is not? What do you prove with your actions that is or is not? Do you even understand for what I'm asking you? Or do you not? Maybe a bit of a culture shock for some, but for others it will not. You are the decider for what you can and cannot do. What is able and not able for what you can do. But it has to be amongst your mind decided. And then for what is produced, your body shows for what you have decided. If you really wish to have no limits, then know for what has been set, for what is the best of the best. It is not a limit. It is only the standard to be for what is the best. Otherwise, you take second place and the first amongst the rest. To live with no limits, you know for what is the best. And you strive to be for what is and is capable to be the best. Otherwise, you're the first to take second, and then the rest. As soon as you decide what's possible, your body acknowledges for what you have declared is possible. Do you not understand that? For what you verbalize, that you can and cannot do. Do you not realize that there is a subconscious as well as for what you have going on? That subconscious controls for what is your body's reaction. If you declare for what you wish to have to be your reaction, your subconscious will make it be for what you have declared will be. Do you not get that? It is the part of the mind that you do not have access to that your body does. So you're going to continue to let a limit that has not been set by you stand? For you do not know for what is the limit until you push for what is and is capable to be such limit. And maybe it's something that, upon some work, you could make it be a strength, not a weakness if it was you chose to work. If you get what it is I just said with that last phrase there. You get what I just said? Oh, I'm not very good with this. Okay, well, if you worked on it, you could be. But if you say no, you'll never know. It's a conscious decision up here to not try. In all aspiration that you could have had for what you could have accomplished, and possibly maybe even made a business out of, at that exact moment that you said no, it dies at the exact time that you choose to say no. And the world will never see. For what should not be in the grave, that is what it will be. For you have decided less will be me. I will not be one that is above and not below. I am one that is not the head, but I am the tail, and I am below. If you give an honest effort, and you cannot, let me ask you this. One that thinks they have limits, and one that does not, which one accomplishes more and which one does not? As simple as that, my friend. You decide for what is the end. No matter if you like it or not, it is the truth, and you cannot dispute for what is truth. For it cuts through all like a blade, piercing for what is on the other side of the blade. So, do you have limits, for what is required to be the best? Maybe you might be weary, but for who takes second, the first, the rest? Who takes beyond that? The one that does nothing. If it is you wish to have an average life, then that is fine. But when you complain for what is produced by the ones that choose to be the best of the best. Just know, if it were you were willing, instead you could be the best. No right do you have, for you have not put in work for what you complain you have. So what will it be that you do? Another piece of information as well. For it was said and written, the generation that sees the olive tree blossom. 1969. Israel became a state. Kinda odd, isn't it? All these great things being done around the same time for what was prophesied for what will be done. And yet, you do not know for what battle has already been won. So these limits that you think you have, how long will it be that you, the only decider if it is to stay, decide upon the fact that these limits will stay? Well, that looks like all the time that I have for now. So, until next time.